We have 11 amazing restaurants featuring a wide variety for every price range and appetite. South Point's Garden Buffet has something for everyone at unbeatable prices. Or, if hunger strikes in the middle of the night, join us at Coronado Cafe. The American menu offers breakfast, lunch, or dinner 24 hours a day, plus a Chinese kitchen for authentic Chinese dishes from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. From steak and eggs to wonton soup, it's fast and friendly service 24/7. When you need a quick pick-me-up, you can find it at our state-of-the-art Starbucks just inside the main South Point entrance. Order ahead with the Starbucks app for easy mobile order pickups. Or enjoy your favorites in the relaxing dining area anytime, day or night. If you love Mexican food, Baja Miguel's has all of your south-of-the-border favorites. There are dozens of classics to choose from, like fajitas, ceviche, chimichangas, tacos, and more. And for spirit lovers, Baja's colorful non-smoking tequila bar is right outside. South Point is also proud to provide a variety of relaxing amenities for the guests who want to be pampered. Soak up the sun and let your stress melt away in our lagoon-style paradise swimming pool. A relaxing getaway where you can bask in the desert sun and enjoy seasonal food and bar service poolside. And if you really want to escape, come to Spa Costa del Sur. From couple suites to a co-ed wet area, our spa caters to business and leisure travelers who want to unwind and elevate their senses. A visit to one of our spa's steam, sauna, or whirlpool treatment rooms will leave any guest feeling like they can take on the world. If you're celebrating a special occasion or just love fine dining, you're in the right place. Come experience the crown jewel of South Point restaurants, Michael's Gourmet Room.
Welcome.
With over 600 different types of wines and magnificent dishes prepared tableside, you'll revel in the rich classic Vegas decor and the best black tie service in the world. This intimate gourmet room has earned accolades galore. Come to Michael's Gourmet Room for an unforgettable dining experience. Another famous restaurant is the Silverado Steakhouse, where you'll find the charm and service that discerning patrons require. From top quality steaks and chops to fresh seafood and desserts, you'll love the award-winning wine list and menu at Silverado Steakhouse. Steak lovers have even more options with primarily prime rib. Catering to hearty appetites, the menu features a variety of flavorful prime rib cuts, dry-aged to ensure tenderness, and then seasoned and slowly roasted. Although prime rib is our specialty, it's not the only thing on the menu. There's something for everyone.
Good morning. Happy Monday, everybody, and welcome in Sports by the Book live from the South Point Hotel and Casino. I'm Alex White. I'll be with you for the next hour. Chris Andrews joins me in about 10 or 15 minutes. We'll recap the weekend, week 17 in the NFL, and it did not disappoint. Finished off with a fantastic game last night with 80 total points between the Niners and the Bears. Went down to the wire, but ultimately the Niners get the win 42-38, and now they will face off against Seattle for the number 1 overall seed in the NFC. A couple meaningful games coming up this week in week 18, so we'll talk to Chris about those. Looking forward to that. And of course, we have one more game tonight on tap, the Rams and the Falcons. The hook is gone here at the South Point. The Rams a 7-point favorite, really 7.5 in most other places. So we'll talk to Chris about the bets that he has had come in on the Falcons at the last minute here. So that's what we have for you with football-wise. And, of course, we have a full slate of hockey. I'm looking forward to that. 11 games on the board, so we'll go through that before Chris joins us. We also have a bowl game tonight and a lot of entertaining bowl games over the weekend, so excited to talk with Chris about that as well. Georgia Southern, App State. It is a rematch from a Sun Belt game we saw earlier in the year, and I'm pretty surprised by the line movement because Georgia Southern is a big favorite in this one, 10-point favorite over App State, total 58, and I do not have a play on this. I think that line has gotten a little bit too high, but I will say that App State does have two of their top two quarterbacks in the transfer portal. Don't know if they will play. We saw over the weekend with North Texas, even though Drew Mestemaker was in the transfer portal, he did decide to play for his team. So make sure and keep an eye out for that. But AJ Swan and JJ Cole both in the transfer portal, and they are their top two quarterbacks. We did see both of them play throughout the year. On the other side, J.C. French has been very good for Georgia Southern, kind of a sneaky good Sun Belt quarterback, and it is his second year as the starter there. So they do have the advantage, but still a 10-point spread here in this bowl game between two teams that are very familiar with one another, have quite the rivalry. Georgia Southern has got the best of them as of late, 4-1 ATS in their last 5 meetings. So we'll see what happens in that one. I'll get Chris's thoughts as well. Let's go ahead and move over to the ice. Things are getting interesting in the NHL. Some really good games. We saw some really good games coming back from the break between Saturday, yesterday, and today. A lot of big-time rivalries, and that continues tonight. Some big ones here. Washington Capitals at Florida to take on the Panthers. Should be a good matchup there. Two really good goalies getting the start in Logan Thompson and Bobrovsky. So I don't really have a play on this one. 5.5 is the total. -130 for the Florida Panthers. I think that number is correct. I did make it a little bit higher, but you can see it's juiced to the over, -120. I would have 6 juiced to the under. So a little bit of a lean over 5.5 there. These are two of the better scoring teams. Washington 10th right now in the league in goals per game, and Florida 12th. On the other side, though, Washington's been one of the best in goals allowed. They are tied for 7th right now. Florida 18th. That has been one of their weaknesses, even though Bobrovsky's numbers are still very good. 2.79 goals against average and an .887 save percentage. So maybe not his best that we are used to seeing, but Florida's turning it on at the right time of the year as they usually do. So it's a lean to the over at 5.5, but let's keep it going for any of my definite plays here today. Let's go to the Rangers and the Canes. Another big matchup. These two don't like each other much either. Carolina -175, total 5.5. I am right there, both side and total 5.5, juice to the over at -120. So I really don't have any value here in this one. The Rangers playing a little bit better. Coming into this one on a loss. Carolina 1-1 coming into this one. 4 straight overs for the Hurricanes, though. And kind of like the last two I talked about, one of the best. They are top 10 in scoring, and they are tied for 5th in goals against. So I do think that number is warranted. Rangers on the other side, 30th in goals allowed. All right. I'm sorry, they're 30th in goals for. They are 17th in goals allowed. So struggling to score. The New York Rangers have been all year long. This one I do have a play on. Columbus Blue Jackets, Ottawa Senators. Now, Ullmark has stepped away from the team. Their starting goalie. I don't know when he will be back, but we will have their backup goalie in Merlinkinen going today. So Ottawa -210. I think that number is just a little too steep here without Ullmark. I know the rest of the team should step up, and the Blue Jackets have struggled as of late, but I think you've got the better goalie in net with Elvis Merlinkins, and I know his numbers don't say it, but I do think he could step up in this one as well. More of a take on the price here, +180 for the Blue Jackets. I think That's a good shot to take there. If you want to take a little bit, split up your unit size, +1.5, -135 for them to keep it close. I do agree with the high total, though, with both of these goalies going. Maybe you should make it even higher with no Olmark in net for the Senators. So that could be another look there just to get a lot of goals over 6.5. My number is 6.5 if it was Olmark. So let's keep it going here. Edmonton and Winnipeg. The Oilers, small favorite on the road, -115. Still no Tristan Jarry. I thought it was a concussion, but it's been a while now that he has been out, probably not rushing him back. So we will have Calvin Pickard going today. 3.93 goals against average and an .861 save percentage. It has not been good there for the backup. He was the backup for Stuart Skinner, of course, and now the backup for Tristan Jarry. They did bring in Connor Ingram as well. On the other side, Connor Hellebuck, 2.55 and a .908 save percentage. So since returning, he has just jumped right back into current form. So I kind of like Winnipeg in this spot as well, -105. Not a huge difference. I made a -118 at home, but I still think that that is the correct side there. You're seeing the total now. It opened 6. Now it's about 6.5 at all shops, and I do agree with that as well. So I believe there was some plus money on Winnipeg last night as well. Yes, you could have got +105. So that is when I really did like the Jets, getting a nice plus price there. Have to tell you, though, they have lost 5 in a row coming into this one. So that could be a little bit of a concern, and you should add that in as well. All right, one more, and then I'm going to take a quick break before we finish this hockey. Bear with me. Cold outside, dealing with a little bit of a illness here, but we'll make it through. Let's do one more, then we'll take a break here. Buffalo and St. Louis. The Sabres have won 8 in a row coming into this one, and they're still just $1.15. I think that number's correct, or it could be even higher. They've won 5 straight road games. As I mentioned, 8-game winning streak, though. It will be Alex Lyon instead of Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. And on the other side, it will be Joel Hofer. But St. Louis has continued to struggle, 32nd in goals for, 27th in goals against. Both teams, though, on a nice under streak. All right, Andrew, if you don't mind, let's take a quick 1-minute break. That was half of our hockey slate. When we get back, we'll finish the other half here on Sports by the Book.
Heading to Las Vegas to catch the action at Allegiant Stadium? Skip the traffic and the sky-high room rates of the Strip. Book your stay at the South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa. The South Point is located just 7 miles away from the stadium, and it's a quick trip up the freeway, making it an affordable rideshare or taxi ride. And don't worry about getting here when you land in Vegas. We offer a convenient airport shuttle to get your getaway off to a stress-free start. Shuttles are also available on Raider game days for a small fee. So whether you're rooting for your team or seeing your favorite band in concert at Allegiant Stadium, South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa is your ticket to all the excitement. Are you ready to lock in your bets and cash in on the games this weekend? Get weekly football winners from Alex White, Chris Andrews, and Vinny Magliulo.
I did take the dog 3.5.
I'm going to stay with the Colts here. That's definitely going to be one of my plays.
If the Bears have turned the corner, they have to take care of business in this game.
Yes.
Tune in for behind-the-book perspectives you won't find anywhere else.
If you're looking to bet the under, you're going to get a better number.
The wise guys are certainly not going to play the favorites.
I know if it hits 7, don't blink. Maybe that's what bettors are waiting for.
Every NFL matchup, every college game that matters, the spreads, the stats, and the smart money plays.
Is there a way to bet against both teams?
Get your winning edge with Football Frenzy, streaming on YouTube every Friday at noon Pacific.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for joining us here on Sports by the Book, live from the South Point Hotel and Casino 5 days a week, Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m., and on Fridays, noon to 2 p.m. Pacific time. Of course, that is our Football Frenzy special, one of our best. And, of course, we have the bookmakers join us to go through all of the action for the weekend in football on the gridiron, both college and the NFL. If you are joining us live, thank you so much. Please jump in. We do have a poll question going for tonight's matchup between the Rams and the Falcons. So go ahead and pick your favorite bet on the board, all prop bets, which one you would be most intrigued to take for the game tonight. Very interesting for the Rams because whether or not they play their starters the full game is definitely in question because they no longer have a shot at that 1 seed for both the West and for the NFC overall. All right, Chris Andrews is joining us here soon. So just to kind of go through a couple more on the board for hockey, Kings and the Avalanche in Colorado tonight. Looking at this one, it's very hard to price these Avs who are playing so good. Minus 235. Is that the correct number here? Minus 230 here at the South Point. Total is 6. You can never count this team out. Mackenzie Blackwood will be between the pipes for Colorado. They're number 1 in goals for. They're number 1 in goals against. I do agree with that number. I have no play here, and I think the total at 6 under is correct as well. Boston and Calgary up next. Calgary minus 130 here at the South Point. Total is 6. I like the under in this one. I'm a little bit worried with Dustin Wolf in net for Calgary, but Jeremy Swayman been very good for Boston, and they have struggled to score as of late. Boston comes into this one losing 5 in a row, so it's a lean to the under here. I think it should be 5.5. My numbers say 5.5, so getting a nice half goal there and potentially could tie. Okay, last but not least for me, I have 2 games I do like at the end. West Coast games here, Minnesota Wild and the Vegas Golden Knights. This should be a fantastic matchup. The Knights are coming off an overtime loss to Colorado, where really led most of that game. Lost in a shootout in that one. So they'll be ready to go here against another really good Western Conference team in Minnesota. Carter Hart's been playing very good for the Knights. 2.76 goals against average and an .897 save percentage. And on the other side, Gustafsson, 249 goals against average and a .912 save percentage. So I like this under that 6 here. And I know we just saw a ton of goals in Vegas between them and the Avs, but I think this could be a tighter, more defensive battle. So under 6, that is a definite play for me. And then last but not least, the other West Coast game in Anaheim, the Ducks hosting the Sharks. This is, these are 2 teams I like to take the overs with. They're young, they're fast, and I think we could see a lot of goals here. So even though it is a 6.5 juice to the over, I think the books could have even hung a 7 here. So I think we'll get a lot of goals between these two. And it's going to be Peter Mrazek for the Ducks, who has definitely struggled. 3.85 goals against average and an .867 save percentage. So I'll make sure and write my best bets on the board, but that is going to be one of them, as well as the Knights under, and then probably taking a small ticket on Columbus Blue Jackets over Ottawa at plus 180. But that's it for hockey for today. We're at that 15-minute mark. Should I take a break to bring Chris in, or should we bring him right in? They're ready? You're ready? You raced down here for me. Thank you.
I heard your voice. You sound a little off. I'm thinking I better get down there and rescue Alex.
I've had a lot of emergencies. Been trying to fight this,
Really?
but now it's just kind of the voice.
It
so
is,
I don't.
okay. Just the weather, you think?
Yeah,
You're
I think the weather.
hesitating. Okay, all right.
I think the weather.
Okay.
But yeah, Chris, I started off the show by saying what a great game last night.
Oh my gosh, that was terrific.
A lot of fun between those two. You mentioned it a week ago, though. You said the Niners, I really like them to make a run, but that defense could be a problem.
The defense is going to be a big problem. But I think I said it even about maybe a month ago or something like that. I said, if you're looking for value, that was a chance. Now, I never dreamt that they would actually have a chance to be a number 1 seed. But that offense is playing fantastic. And, Robert Saleh, I think he needs a lot of credit. Yeah, forget last night's game, but he has his 2 best defensive players out essentially for the year. I saw Fred Warner's going to try to come back.
Is he?
They said if they make it to the NFC Championship, he thinks he might be ready to play. Well, I think, he's a huge – I mean, some guys consider him the best linebacker in football before he got hurt. I don't know what he's going to be coming back for 1 game, but that would be a big help to that defense. Bosa's gone. But that offense was fantastic. And, Purdy, and I just heard some of the guys talking about it today. He doesn't look like the kind of guy that would be an A1 quarterback, but he sure plays like it.
He definitely does. He plays with a lot of confidence.
Yeah.
And I think we saw that last night
He's
again.
accurate.
Yeah.
That's the thing. There's so many things. Well, processing and accuracy is something that's, you can judge accuracy for a bit in college, but processing, it's a whole different thing. And that's one of the things I said about, what's his name for Jacksonville? It goes both ways.
Trevor Lawrence?
No, the defensive back from Colorado. Heisman Trophy winner.
Yeah. Yes, Travis Hunter.
I said, it's hard for him. I'm not talking about on the field. I think he has a talent to be a good defensive back and a good receiver. But you got to be in meetings all week because it's not in college. You say, okay, you just go out,
Right.
you're guarding this guy. Pros is just a whole different ball game. And that's one of the things, like I said, and I'm getting off track a little bit, but it's hard to judge processing because the defenses are so different. But, Purdy was the last, famously the last quarterback drafted. And to tell you the truth, I wasn't all that impressed with him in college. He was okay.
Right.
But, come to the pros and however his brain works, he seems to understand defenses and how to pick them apart, So God bless him,
Well, what do you think now? So that game will be on Saturday between the Seahawks and the 49ers. Niners at home here. Any early thoughts or any early action for you guys in that one?
Well, no early action, but, I'm looking at my numbers. I made the Seahawks a half, so, it's right there. It's going to be one. I think we might see some pick by the time the weekend's out, but this is just a fantastic matchup. We got a couple of great matchups. The early game Saturday, I'm not sure it's two great teams, but it is, a lot of drama involved. Now that game, I'll tell you the truth, I made it pick. And I see threes with a little bit of juice on the dog. I haven't seen any 2.5s yet, but I told them before I came down, if you see this game dropping, don't hesitate to drop it. I'm not a Carolina fan. I'm not a Bryce Young fan. But, boy, this Tampa Bay team is just playing terrible. What are they, 8 out of 9 or 7 out of 8?
7 out of 8.
7 out of 8. Now they're a favorite. I just don't see it. Not that Carolina, like I said, not that they're great, but, 3 to me would be a take on Carolina.
Really interesting that it comes down to this. Now, of course, if the Falcons win tonight, and then I think they have to win the next one too, Carolina gets it. But, to lose 7 out of 8 and still have a shot to win your division, that says a lot about where they started. But how about that Sunday night game? The Ravens find a way, and the Steelers, we talked about it, the Browns, they wanted nothing more than to play spoiler, and they did to an extent. So now it comes down to this final game between the Steelers and the Ravens.
Yeah, I think your takeaway is, the Steelers, we knew all season that wide receiver core was a problem. And then they lose the one guy they couldn't afford to lose.
Yep.
And I still want to think, I'd like to know more what that blue-haired guy said to DK Metcalf, because I think he incited something. I don't know. I think, 2 games was probably too much. 1 game, I think he deserved 1 game, but 2 games, now we don't have him. The Steelers don't have him for this game. But the Steelers just show you, MVS, he's, there's a reason he was on the scrap heap. And, Austin, I guess, is out this week. Is that what I'm hearing? But Freiermuth, he had a great game. He was terrific. But they just don't have weapons right now. And I'm not sure they could take advantage of a Baltimore defense. And again, Ed Feng kept Baltimore up high in his rankings, and I disputed that. Meanwhile, this week, we're not sure if who's going to be the quarterback, whether it's Hundley or Jackson. It doesn't seem to matter. I looked at Hundley's numbers are pretty good, and Jackson's are not this year. And, we're not getting the Lamar Jackson that's a 2-time MVP. He's just not the same player. So, I don't know. I'll be rooting for the Steelers, but I got to tell you, it'd be hard to put money on them, with the fact that they just don't have enough players on their roster right now to compete at a high level.
I feel like it would be hard. Of course, if Lamar Jackson is healthy, you have to play him. But what we saw from that team with Huntley, it kind of elevated everybody. Everybody got better around him, including the defense. And they weren't afraid to give the give the ball to Derrick Henry.
That was a big key.
Yes.
You know, sometimes when maybe you have Lamar and you think, well, I got this ace in the hole, I'm just going to use it.
Yeah.
You know, and they didn't have that. And you know, again, you know, I'm not in practices all week and seeing what's going on, but you know, how could they? You know, last couple of games they didn't feature this guy. He's, I'll tell you, I mean, he's got to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. You know, if I'm voting, I mean, he's just impossible to stop. And he had a huge game, and I have a feeling you're going to get a heavy dose of him on Sunday night too.
You're wearing your Penn State?
Well, they had a basketball game early this morning, so I put it on. And
well, and they won a bowl game this
they did win a
weekend.
bowl game.
I had a feeling, too.
Yeah, they responded great considering what happened. I still, as I look back and reflect, I think Penn State pulled the trigger a little too quickly on James Franklin. You know, I hope they don't regret it because I like Matt Campbell coming in. I think he's going to do a really good job. But, yeah, I think maybe they pulled that trigger a little quick.
I mean, it's looking like Virginia Tech might have one of the best hires of the whole coaching carousel.
Well, the other thing about that, you know, Franklin coached at Vanderbilt, and then he coached at Penn State. So he had a lot of connections in that area of the country. Now, if he was hired by Texas or something, that wouldn't work. But here, you know, he's recruited heavily in, you know, Virginia, the Carolinas, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and I think he'll recruit really well. Have you ever been to Virginia Tech, by the way?
No, I haven't.
It's a beautiful area. You know, I could see where kids would want to go there. And it's a very good school.
Besides that, how was the handle and everything for the bowl games Saturday? Did it help to have a couple of the NFL games going?
Well, it definitely helped to have the NFL games. I got to tell you, these bowl games, I mean, look at tonight's game. We opened 2. We're up to 10. Or today, they go at 11 o'clock. I mean, I really, these bowl games are just, I mean, it's like booking preseason NFL football.
Yep.
The numbers move like crazy. And, you know, we have not had a good bowl season. I'll tell you that. We have not had a good bowl season. It's been bad. And, you know, hopefully we're going to win a couple of these big games that are coming up, and even some of the games that are not in the playoffs. So, you know, we got some good games, you know, and hopefully we can make some amends as moving forward. But so far, not so good.
I'm surprised because I know Friday we aren't like giving out picks when it comes to these bowl games, but going and watching those games throughout Saturday and then looking at the final, I'm like, I feel like Chris and I did pretty good.
We did. I mean, to tell you the truth, that probably saved us some money in a couple spots. You know, that's hard to pat myself on the back. See, Michael, I didn't lose as much as we should have, you know. But, I mean, if you listen to us, and I'm looking just over my notes here on Friday, we gave up Minnesota. We won by 3. They covered. UTSA, they covered. Yeah, they won easy, right? And BYU won.
Ooh,
okay.
That got interesting.
We had Miami, Ohio, they lost. San Diego State, and I almost texted you that night. I don't want to bother you on your days off or anything, but I gave up on that game. I completely gave up.
I did
then
too.
I was going, then they always text me the figures at the end of the night. I said, really? Well, we did better than I thought I did. I looked, well, that game was bad for us. And I looked, I said, oh my God, they scored with 1 second left, I guess, or something like that.
So were a lot of people on the points there?
A lot of guys were on North Texas.
Oh, okay.
They were on North Texas. You and I were on San Diego State. And then I looked at Houston. They won as well. They won by 3. So we gave out a lot of winners. By the way, if you listen to our show on Sunday, or on Friday, we talked about Sunday's game, Saturdays and Sundays game. I marked down on my sheet. Here's who we gave out. Houston, winner. Cincinnati, winner. Giants, winner. Steelers, we won't mention it. I hear Ian laughing. Dolphins, winner. Niners, winner. So some of them went down to the wire, of course. But, you know, hey, you bring your ticket to the cashier and they cash it. That's a good thing. So we got a lot of winners. We had a lot of winners.
And I feel bad because Friday we always end with you giving your picks, and I forgot on Friday.
We didn't go, but I had guys texting me. And, good. So, so we had a lot of we gave out a lot of winners for Sunday. Like I said, the one I really wanted to win is the one we lost, the Steelers. So that's the way it goes.
Well, and that's the one I was trying to match up with Green Bay, but
we won't
even
let you
though
do
the
that.
but the Ravens found a way, so it would have killed it early anyways. But yeah, and that's pretty tough to do in week 17, and now it's going to be tough for week 18. Any advice for people going into this week who are trying to make bets?
Yes. I got a few notes here. Okay. The Packers, I'm not, they really have nothing to play for. So if you're looking at that number, it looks a little weird. Vikings are 6, but I'm not sure what they're going to do at quarterback. Love, I do not think will play at all. And I don't know if Willis will even play. I'm not sure. So they may be going third string there. The Bills, probably going to be Trubisky at quarterback. I mean, Josh Allen for sure is, I'd say, not going to play.
They're locked
That's
up
the
too.
anticipation. He's not going to play. Like I said, we already mentioned Ravens and Steelers. I mean, they full strength, that game should probably be pick 'em, but it's hard to bet the Steelers with all the injuries and whatnot. The other game, Broncos and Chargers, looks like Herbert will not play. It's going to be Trey Lance, I think, is what they're anticipating. He's banged up pretty good, and it looks like the anticipation is they're going to rest him.
So they are kind of waving the flag, right? Because they have a chance to actually. Oh no, they don't. They're 11-5.
Yeah, they're
because of that loss to
they're
Houston.
somewhat locked in. Where the Broncos have a lot to play for. But I got to tell you, even with that, I think that number's too high. The Broncos, we talked about it playing against Kansas City. They were like a 13.5-point favorite. I said, they just don't win. That's not the way they win.
No, and that game was tied.
Yeah. I mean, so if you want to bet
chunk.
the Broncos on the money line, even that's going to be a high money line. But I think that you can't lay 7.5 on that thing. But that's the market right now. So there's a couple things to be careful. By the way, I got one more angle that I want to talk about. You got the Chiefs and the Raiders.
Yes.
The Chiefs we know is, that's like their practice squad. But they're playing the Raiders, and I was looking. I have the Raiders and Jets the same power rating. I don't know that it's the worst power rating I've ever had on a team, but it's right there. I actually have the Raiders a 0.5 point better than the Jets. Shows you how bad the Jets are. But think of this. You got Kansas City playing the Raiders. The Raiders lose, they get the number 1 draft choice. You think Kansas City wants to give them the number 1 draft choice?
No.
So is Kansas City going to try to win that game? I don't know. I don't think the Raiders want to win the game either, though. That's the problem. So this is going to be an interesting game. I wouldn't be surprised if you see like a 7-3 final. Somebody stumbles into the end zone on a pick 6 or something like that, or a special teams play. But that's an interesting game. I don't think Kansas City wants to give the Raiders the number 1 draft choice.
I agree. And right now we're looking at 37. I wouldn't be afraid to go under that.
Yeah.
We saw some of Kenny Pickett yesterday, and he might even get the start, I would think. And
it's not going to. It'll be Kenny Pickett.
Okay.
But Kenny Pickett, he might want to win,
right?
But I'm not sure what the coaches are going to try to do, and they may get orders from up top. Listen, they're not going to quote unquote tank, obviously. Like every guy on the field is playing for his job. You have to understand that every guy's playing for his
100%.
job. But the coaching staff and the ownership might be. I don't think it's going to be the coaching staff because Pete Carroll's probably at the door, but they don't want to. They want to get that number 1 draft choice, which I don't blame them. I mean, they have a lot of things. I mean, did they take Mendoza? That's kind of the consensus at this point. But even they don't take him, they could trade him for a bounty of other draft choices because they need a whole lot of help. But having that number 1 draft choice gives you a lot of leverage, and I'm not sure Kansas City wants to give them that. So I think it's a weird situation.
Probably will even turn out to be even weirder than this past game because the Giants wanted to win.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's why we saw the big line movement. But once they put Max Crosby on the IR and shut down Brock Bowers.
Yeah.
So that's when you kind of know.
Their best offensive player, their best defensive player, was. I
was kind of surprised to see Ashton Genty out there like he was. I wonder if he'll play this week.
Good question. I don't know. But I mean, I think it's the consensus is that Pete Carroll's going to be out. He's 74 years old, I think, something like that. And I'm sure he has plenty of money. He certainly should. I mean, they thought this was going to be a good answer. I tell you the truth, I thought so too.
Yeah, I did too.
At the beginning of the year, I was bullish on the team. Maybe not to make the playoffs, but I thought they would be a very representative team. They were anything but. I mean, they're a disaster. So I don't know, but that's going to be an interesting scenario come Sunday.
I mean, you said it though so many times. You said by the time we get to November, December, we will be saying we missed on so many things.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people thought the Saints were going to be the worst team.
Yeah.
And they are not.
No.
And they've done well. That's kind of where I thought the Raiders would be or the Giants, right? Instead, those two are at the bottom, close to getting the number one overall. But
yeah. And the Jets, I mean, do they give
Jets
is Glenn one and out, one and done as far as being a coach? I mean, they have gone downhill dramatically. And even he's supposed to be a defensive coach. Their defense was horrible.
Not one interception. Entire team.
And 35 touchdowns. And you and I have talked about that. That's not maybe the perfect scenario to rate a quarterback, but it means something. It means something.
Yeah.
So if you're going against the Jets, you're an all-pro pretty much every week.
When you talked about the Raiders being one of your lowest, yet watching the Jets and the Patriots yesterday, I was like, the Jets have to be right there. So that makes
I have them half a point worse than the Raiders, and I'm taking into account the Raider injuries.
Right.
Or I mean, I don't even want to call them injuries, but they're two best players out, and Jets are still a half point worse than that.
That's pretty bad.
Real bad.
It's been pretty brutal there. What do you think about tonight? Do you think they'll play Matthew Stafford the entire game, or?
I don't know. Worst. It's a weird situation because, starting at the beginning of the week, I really liked the Rams. Now, the way things came out, I'm not sure the Rams have much to play for at all. I don't know. That's a good question. The funny thing is, right now, if they kick off, I need Atlanta because they still had a lot of money on there. Even though I'm down to 7, the wise guys are on the dog, but the public is definitely on the Rams.
They still are.
So, I mean, if you're looking at that metric, like a lot of people are, that means Atlanta would be the right side if you can get a good number.
Well, and a lot of people probably took the Rams early on, tied it up in their parlays, right? Just
definitely
looking through the week.
A lot of teaser play, money line play on the Rams.
But now,
even point spread on the Rams.
Oh gosh.
But like I said, my wise guys came in and just guys I respect. I mean, I had it 8.5. They took the 8.5. They took the 8. They took the 7.5. I says, you know what? I'm trying to get ahead of this thing. I'm going to go to 7. But if they kick off, last time I did the what ifs, we still, we need the Falcons.
So it says 8 if you are watching, but it is 7 now here at the South Point. A lot of 7.5 still out there, though, if anybody wants to jump in and take with the hook there with the Falcons, who are still playing good. And Kirk Cousins is kind of playing for his future, which I don't know what that looks like and if he still wants to stay in the league. But the last 2 games have been some of his best since coming back.
What's Penix's prognosis for next year? I'm not sure it's that great to start the year anyway.
Exactly.
So, I mean, Cousins, we know he's, as far as contract negotiations, he's in the Hall of Fame for that. We know that. But, if he's looking at $50 million, which is about, I don't think it's quite that much. I think it's about $35 million if he plays next year. You're just going to walk away from $35 million, even no matter how much you have. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. And plus, it looks like they might need him.
Exactly. So to start the season and then kind of be the backup again, not a bad gig by any means. It's going to be crazy. I can't wait for the playoffs here. Right now, Packers are locked into that 7 seed, as you mentioned. That's why the number's where it is.
Yeah.
The Rams are sitting in the 6 and the Niners at the 5. What a conference.
Yeah.
Whoever has to face those two, even though they get a home game. So it'll be Tampa or Carolina have a home game, and they'll have to face one of those two or Seattle.
Yeah, that's the rules. I mean, that's the way it goes. The other team I think that's interesting to talk about is Philadelphia.
Yes.
I mean, their defense right now looks, is it the best in the league? I think Houston may have something to say about that, but Philly's right there. But that offense, did Jalen Hurts not have a completion the second half, I think? And what, they gained like 15 yards, something ridiculous? And I mentioned early on when we did the Friday show, I really didn't like anybody in the game, but a lot of the wise guys that I really respected liked Philadelphia. Now, I don't know what happened in that game because we wound up closing at 3. We got a late flood of money on Buffalo. And I think the handicap was the fact that Lane Johnson was coming back. It was going to really open up a lot of the running game. And, I mean, even the first half, I mean, they only put 13 on the board. It's not like they did that great. But the second half was nothing. But, I mean, even if Buffalo scores that 2-point conversion at the end, you still cover because I think you could have taken 1.5 at the worst. But, Buffalo just, it seems like they're just doing a few things that cost them games. Like the 1 4th down where, Allen was this short of the goal line. They had the extra point blocked, which, I mean, may have determined their entire postseason.
Right.
Because now you got to win 3 games on the road. Man, that's hard to do against this kind of competition, But they just always, this year, they just seem to be a little bit off, almost similar to Detroit. Did a lot of, that's a good team, and I really kind of like them this week because I think they want to go in with a winning record. Right now, they're 8-8. I don't think they want to be 8-9. And I think, Campbell's the kind of guy that's going to really come out firing in this game. But they did a lot of things during the course of the year. A lot of 4th downs where they eschewed the field goal, which I think really was, forget analytics. I mean, the analytics only go so far. You have to play the game, and what I have said before, games take on a life of their own. And sometimes you need that 3 points. Yeah. I think they'd have done that a lot more this year, and I think Campbell. I hope because I kind of like the guy. I hope he looks at some of these things in the offseason and decides, what, I probably should have taken a few more of these field goals. I hope he does because, like I said, he's a guy that for me is kind of easy to root for. He changed that culture so much in Detroit, and I mean, it looks like guys really want to play for him. But anyway, I'm getting off track a little bit. Between Buffalo and Detroit, they did little things to really screw up their season and, prevented them from reaching their potential.
Crazy thing I saw in Buffalo, 4-12 against the spread in the first half of this year.
I saw that. Yeah. That's remarkable. I didn't realize that.
Even 3-11 first half ATS in games where they were favored. Worst mark for any team since 2005. That's from Action Network, who does give a lot of the best trends. So, slow starters.
Yeah, that's going to bite you, eventually.
Well, that leaves the question of who do you like in the AFC?
I don't know. If you asked me 3 weeks ago, I'd have told you I like the Rams in the NFC. Now I don't know if I like anybody in the AFC. I don't know.
Houston is sneaky, but now I think a lot of people are already on them.
Yeah.
You had money on them, right?
We have a lot of money on Houston. I took a big bet early in the year, and I remember, I think I said, "Was this guy nuts?" Houston, and they're not. Where are they going? But now, I think you have to look, and this is something I've said over the years, even with as prevalent as offenses have been. I think defense, when you get into the playoffs, defense rules the day. And if that's so, you have to have a ton of respect for Houston. We just mentioned having a ton of respect for Philly. Every team has flaws, though. The one team I think really could sneak up on some people is Jacksonville. And I'm not sure they're so sneaky anymore. But that defense is playing great. And, Trevor Lawrence, I've never been his biggest fan. Even years ago when I did the shows with Gil Alexander, I was never quite sold on him. But right now, he's playing really good football. He's playing, really, if you go back the last, and I'd have to look at the numbers, but like the last about 8 weeks, his numbers have to be better than anybody. And he's scoring on the ground, too.
Yeah.
He's a big athletic kid. And, Liam Cohen, I didn't know much about him going into this year, but I think now when we look back at his career, you say, wow, this guy's really been successful. And he's brought a lot out of Trevor Lawrence. And then their defense is playing great. I mean, that's a team to be reckoned with.
I agree. I think they could could make a little run there in the playoffs. I think my problem all year was they kind of play to the level of their competition, right? And I was at the Raiders game when they came into town. I mean, that was an evenly matched game.
Yeah.
The difference is they find ways to win against everyone, right? And then when you're in the playoffs, you're playing the best. But I mean, they let the Colts hang around. But that's also a division matchup,
right.
And
no, I see
pretty
your
good team
point.
too.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
we'll see. It'll be interesting. It should be a good postseason, and we're gonna have some different teams there. Unless the Niners and the Eagles, I would not be surprised if either one of them make
No.
it, but
No, neither would I. No. Gosh.
it would be nice to see maybe the Rams back again or the Seahawks, but
Depends on who we need.
tough roads. That's from the bookmaker's mouth right there. Okay, well, I think that's it for the recap. Chris and
Yeah.
Matt Neverett and Ryan McCormick back again tomorrow with me for an hour. We'll go through Week 18 opening
You
lines,
got to go through the
closing
colleges
lines,
too.
and we'll go
Big
through
day,
college
big week of college football.
quarterfinals. Any updates there that we need to know?
Not really. I think we talked about it quite a bit on Friday. I have no great insights since then. Except
Well, now
I'm
we're
rooting for App State today, though, and I need an outright victory.
Wow, that might be tough,
That
but I
might-
think
I
they
know
can
it's gonna be
cover
tough.
this. I really do.
It's football. Anything can happen.
That's
But
true.
that's what I need.
That's very true. And Georgia Southern won the first matchup by 2. App State was in it the
I'll
whole
tell you what,
time.
I'd
They
even
might
sign up
flip.
for that.
Okay.
I'd sign up for that.
Oregon now, we're seeing a lot of 2.5s out there, but
Yeah.
you haven't gotten there yet.
No, they're gonna have to bet me. I like Texas Tech, and I'm not married to them or by any means. But if they bet me, I'll move it. If they don't bet me, I'm not gonna move it.
And that looks like that's really all the movement. You think we'll get kind of a flood this week? Monday,
yeah.
Tuesday, Wednesday?
Oh God, yeah. Well, I mean, I expect. I hate to say, I don't think I'm going to get any days off this week. It's just, I usually take off Wednesday, Thursday. That ain't going to happen. I'll try to get out of here a little early on Tuesday. I think my best shot.
Yes. Okay. Well, thank you. And I'm going to put my plays on the whiteboard here for hockey. Kind of already went through that. We do have a trivia, which I think you might know this one. So I'm going to read it now. Anybody who's watching live can jump in with the correct answer. When we come back, I'll let Chris answer, and then we'll get you guys out of here. Kind of a short show on this Monday. As I mentioned, though, Matt Neverett, Ryan McCormick back tomorrow for a full hour. We'll go through Week 18, early leans and likes, opening to where they are tomorrow. So today's ticker trivia, as always, presented by City Light Shine. It is a hockey question. In a 6-3 win over the Detroit Red Wings on December 29th, 1984, the Edmonton Oilers' Wayne Gretzky recorded his career 32nd hat trick, also recording his 100th point of the season in just 35 games. Across his 20-season playing career, how many hat tricks did Gretzky record? Okay, when we come back, we will give you the right answer. If you think you know it, go ahead and put it in the chat, and we have our results from our poll question today, which was 2, 3, or 4. Not much more. What's your last Monday night prop play of the season? When we get back, we'll tell you who won that poll question too, here on Sports by the Book.
South Point is also proud to provide a variety of relaxing amenities for the guests who want to be pampered. Soak up the sun and let your stress melt away in our lagoon-style paradise swimming pool. A relaxing getaway where you can bask in the desert sun and enjoy seasonal food and bar service poolside. And if you really want to escape, come to Spa Costa del Sur. From couple suites to a co-ed wet area, our spa caters to business and leisure travelers who want to unwind and elevate their senses. A visit to one of our spa's steam, sauna, or whirlpool treatment rooms will leave any guest feeling like they can take on the world.
Heading to Las Vegas to catch the action at Allegiant Stadium? Skip the traffic and the sky-high room rates of the Strip. Book your stay at the South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa. The South Point is located just 7 miles away from the stadium, and it's a quick trip up the freeway, making it an affordable rideshare or taxi ride. And don't worry about getting here when you land in Vegas. We offer a convenient airport shuttle to get your getaway off to a stress-free start. Shuttles are also available on Raider game days for a small fee. So whether you're rooting for your team or seeing your favorite band in concert at Allegiant Stadium, South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa is your ticket to all the excitement.
There we go. We are back. Sports by the Book live from the South Point Hotel and Casino. Chris Andrews at the desk with us. Before we took our break, we asked the trivia question, and it was about Wayne Gretzky and his career. Across his 20-season playing career, how many hat tricks did Gretzky record? Chris, did you have a guess?
I was way off. I said like 100. So.
It was 50 hat tricks. I know you know this one, though, because that was across his 20-year season playing 4 different teams. Second on the all-time list, 17 seasons with the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Mario Lemieux.
Do you know how many he had?
10 less than Gretzky.
That's right. He had 40 hat tricks. So thank you for playing along if you did jump in and guess that answer. Last thing, shouldn't be a surprise that the current active player with the most 3-goal games in their career to date is...
Another Penguin?
No. Washington Capitals.
Oh, Ovi.
That's right.
Yeah, okay.
Alex Ovechkin with 33 hat tricks. But that's...
I thought it'd be Sid.
I wonder where Sid is on that list.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because he did just pass Lemieux in something, right?
Lemieux in total points for a Penguin. Penguin points.
Penguin points. Okay.
Yeah.
So you were not far by any means. Okay, so now going to our poll question. So we were looking for some unders. Leading choice, because it's Kirk Cousins, total touchdown passes. Oh, we were going over for the quarterbacks. Over 1.5 for Kirk Cousins, over 2.5, getting plus money for Stafford. And then we did some receptions. Looks like Matthew Stafford, touchdown passes, over 2.5, plus 140, got 62% of the votes.
That's a lot of touchdown passes.
It is. I saw the books yesterday, too, offering, it was 2.5 for Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm going to keep my eye on that. They scored fast and often, and he still didn't get there.
Yeah, 3 touchdown passes is a lot.
And if we're thinking maybe Matthew Stafford doesn't play the full game.
Yeah, that'd be tough to go over on that
one. Okay, Chris, thank you for coming to save me. You're here for a nice 40 minutes. I'm going to go with these hockey plays for today. I've got 4 of them. I am going to go ahead and go with Boston. Full game, going under that 6. I'm going to keep it with another under in Minnesota and VGK here in Vegas. I'm going with an over, 6.5. I know it is a little scary, but both of these teams, like I said, young and fast. Both goalies can definitely give up some goals. So over 6.5 between the Sharks and the Ducks. And I'm going to take 7.5. Small bet on the Atlanta Falcons because I do think that they are still playing for jobs. And Raheem Morris coaching for his job, right?
Oh, yeah.
So that's it for us on this Monday. Thank you, everybody, for sticking it out with us. I think Attila did ask about the total, 49.5. I've got no opinion.
I'm not a totals guy.
I thought 49 was the correct number there, so nothing jumped out to me. But it is a prime time, which we've seen a lot of unders. So maybe if you want to look that way, first half.
Didn't see one last night.
Nope. And that was not slowing down. So, all right, we'll be back tomorrow. Sports by the Book. Matt Neverett, Ryan McCormick back here live, 10 a.m. as always. And thank you for the lower thirds there. 29 more subscribers until we hit 2K. We are trying to do that in 3 days. It's about 10 a day, but we appreciate everybody who has helped push the show as of late because we've definitely gotten a bump up when we said we had this goal. So thank you, everybody. Thank you to the crew. For Chris Andrews, Sportsbook Director here at the South Point, I'm Alex White. I'll see you guys again tomorrow here on Sports by the Book.